So how was your day today, Daniel?
Today I had an amazing day. I'm in a beautiful country, beautiful city somewhere in Europe, shooting a movie, working all day, doing fight scenes, rehearsing, training. I had an amazing day.
Sounds like your life, man. That sounds like
Yeah.
every day for you, which is awesome.
Yeah. I'm very grateful that I'm working. It's always that's when I shine, that's when I'm happy. I just love being on the road. I love working and I'm doing a film here with a good friend of mine, and that's the nice thing. I'm always kind of working with people I know, and it's just such a pleasure, just so much fun.
Well, I had just spoken with Jesse, the director of Hell.
Today?
Yeah, just now. He
Oh,
told me to
fun.
give you his best.
He's the best, man.
He
He
was
gave
he
he gave me an incredible opportunity.
well, he bragged
I
about you a lot.
I owe Jesse. I owe Jesse big time.
So he was telling me that you speak three languages,
Yeah.
German, French, and English. How far back does that go? Like, did
Well,
you?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to know if this is something where you grew up learning and speaking all these
Yeah.
languages.
I was born and raised in Switzerland, in Bern, the capital. And I've actually lived in Switzerland till my early 20s. And then in my early 20s, I moved to France. I was modeling in Paris. So that's where I learned French. And, but, I'm not fluent anymore. German, I'm fluent because it's my mother tongue, but I also speak Swiss, which is a dialect. So when Jesse called me up and he said, "Hey, I got this part for you. You got to speak three languages." I was like, "Okay, cool. I mean, I speak German. That's not a problem." Well, it was a little bit because in my German, because I'm Swiss, I have a slight accent, even though my parents are German and I speak what's called High German. I speak High German with my parents, but also a dialect from a different region. But then in Switzerland, I speak Swiss German. So it's like a
Okay.
salad ball. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. So that's did you have to did Jesse have to direct you to change, the type of German that you were speaking, or did you guys kind of work
No.
together on that, or is that something that
Jesse was a very generous, very open director. Um, I want to just tell you real quick how I met him. I'm a big fan. I love his movies, especially like my favorite film he's done is Avengement, of course, now Hell Hath No Fury. And we were introduced through a mutual friend, and there was two mutual friends we had, and both said, "You guys should meet." And so finally, Jesse and I met, and I remember we met somewhere close to my house at this little mall, had coffee, and we just talked for 2 hours. We didn't really talk about a particular film. We just talked about movies, life, scripts, stories, cameras, fight scenes. We're just both total like film nerds, total film nerds. And and we just totally hit it off. And then we shook hands and said, "Hey, maybe one day we work together. It'd be awesome. Call me anytime." And out of the blue, I get a call and he says, "Hey, Daniel, I got the script called, at the time it was called Ave Marie. I have the script called Ave Marie. Now it's Hell Have No Fury." And he said, "It's a fantastic part. You're playing an SS officer who's in love with a French resistance fighter, and you speak three languages." I was like, "Damn." I was like, "Wow." And I read it, and what really, really attracted me to the project was because it was not your typical action movie that I would usually do. So it was a real acting part. I mean, it's a real acting role, and I was very, very, very pleased to do that.
So, did you not need to be involved with any of the stunt work in this? Because I know that extensively you generally do stunt work in a lot of films. I was curious if you had to do any kind of stunt work, or if, like you said, this was strictly stretching your acting
Strictly
chops.
acting. I mean, all I did is I think I shot a gun. I had no fight scene. I think I just shot somebody. Um, I wasn't the fight coordinator. I wasn't the stunt coordinator. I was just there to act, which was actually very nice. Of course, if somebody asks me, I help out a little bit here and there. It's just something I do. What I mostly do is I call it action acting. I wouldn't say stunts because a lot of my friends are stunt guys, and I cannot call myself a stunt guy because I have too much respect for them. What they do,
not necessarily exactly
I
what you
wouldn't
do.
do. I wouldn't get hit by a car. I wouldn't put myself on fire. I wouldn't go through glass. Too old for that. I do all my own fight scenes. I mean, I never get doubled for that. I did a movie called Parker where I did a 300-foot drop off a building on a descender. I did that, but I had really good people working.
You
Security,
trusted them.
so yeah, which is awesome. But so I call myself like an action. Actually, my buddy, you remember Chad Stahelski, who directed John Wick?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's a good friend of mine, and he calls me a long time ago. He said, "Daniel, you're an action actor. You're not an actor. You're an action actor." So now I'm an action actor.
That's hilarious.
For Chad Stahelski.
That's hilarious. So
Yeah,
you said that obviously you and Jesse have both said this is the first time you guys have met and worked together. But as
yeah.
far as the rest of the cast goes, had you met any of them prior, or were you kind of building chemistry with them during the filming?
First time. I've never met anybody before, so it's the first time, and it was really nice. I think one of Jesse's gifts is finding talent. I think Jesse did such an incredible job casting this movie, where he find Nina Bergman to play Marie, and she did a phenomenal job. I mean, she just killed this part. And he found, and yeah, his friend, Lewis. They've done a lot of films together. I thought he was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed Timothy. I thought Timothy was great. Also, Dominique. I mean, everybody. Really, I thought every person in the movie was great, and that's lots of credits to Jesse.
So he had mentioned, how deep he went into the anachronisms, making sure there wasn't anything there that shouldn't have been there because it's a period piece. Is this the first period piece you've done? I know you've done a lot of projects, so I didn't know if there was any other period pieces you've done, at least in this era, as far as World War II.
I did once a period piece it was a student film, and I remember that it was for I'm forgetting right now. It was a little short film for a director. It was like a student project, and that was a period piece, like a sword fighting movie. And Chapman University, for Chapman University, I did it a long time ago, just as a friend asked me if it would help out, and I did. It was actually really fun. I played a little sword fighting guy. But that was actually it. But doing a film like that was very, very fun for me. I like war movies. I like that period. So I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of research, watched a lot of war movies. And it was very important to Jesse that we really looked the part. So I got the haircut, I got the little mustache.
That's so I know he said that you guys had COVID restrictions. You guys had to film, in a remote location. It was kind of like he said, it kind of was like a family feel because you guys were all so close together. Did do you Was there anything else that you were trying to juggle during the pandemic? Because I know you do so many projects. Were you able to focus on Hell Hath No Fury when you were filming?
100%. 100%. It was only like that project was very unique for me because I knew it was an amazing opportunity. Because when I read the script, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is an amazing project. And I said to Jesse, Jesse, I mean, I know your films, I know the movies you do, but you've never done anything like this. And I was like, Jesse, this could be something really special for you. And look what happened. I mean, we got picked up theatrically. It's coming out November 5th, right? It's
I
coming
believe
out
that's the day.
November
Yeah.
5th theaters, and then November 9th on digital. I think we got to make a little waves with this movie. What do you think about the movie?
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And there's so many layers. Like one of the things Jesse and I touched was their, emotional layers. And there's a lot of layers, I guess, really depending on your history and how much you are familiar with people that were from that era, really.
Mm,
Because like when you're watching that, the way Jesse had put it to me is that it's very easy to look at, black and white and see, the good guys versus the bad guys. But the fact that he explored the complexity of these characters, people who might just be branded as a spy or whatever, in the way that we are taught in history books, not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily embody the complexity of what these characters are. So I'm curious if there's anything that you tried to bring to your character that wasn't necessarily in the script, or if you completely followed Jesse's direction there.
You know, I really, I love directors. I really, really do. And I really followed Jesse had a very, very clear vision on the film, but I remember there was actually something. It's actually a very good question you asked me. I know there's something I went up to him at the end where he may come to me later. There was something I changed, and I went up to him and I said, listen, I think my character would really do that, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, that's funny.
I remember what it was. I remember it. Yeah, I remember it.
Let's go.
So at the very, and I don't want to give too much away. I may be giving something away what I say right now.
But minor possible spoiler alert. Okay.
It's a big one, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, then we don't.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can wait.
let me talk. How about let me talk around it?
Yeah.
Something happens at the end between me and her. My decision was, and that was not in the script, that I let her do it. Only she could do it to give me peace.
And that was different than how it was initially originally going
Well,
to go.
it always happened, but I made that choice as a character.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I thought was very important, because I would only allow it through her. Does that make any sense?
It does to me who's seen it, and I think once people have seen this and then listen,
They understand to get peace for what I've done.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, a bit of atonement there on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is the first movie that you said you've done that's like this. Do you feel like you usually are like gravitated towards action roles, or is it something where you kind of just
Let me think.
is it something that those get pitched to you more, or is that something that you search for?
You know, this is a very tough business, as you probably know. And I've been very, very grateful that I've been in this game since 1995. You know, I started out doing a movie called Bloodsport 2, replacing Jean-Claude Van Damme in his franchise. And now, how many years later is it?
Yeah, that's decades.
Many moons later. I'm still,
it's interesting to me because you know, without going into spoilers, you're reprising a character that you played decades ago, for the Matrix, the new Matrix movie, and you had done Matrix, what, 20 years ago, something like that?
I did it, and we filmed 2001, and 2002 came out 2003.
So almost exactly 20 years ago. That's amazing. When, well, I don't know if you can answer this, but when did they initially call you back for this? Did you already know that the project was happening at that point?
I knew the project was happening, and I'm a huge fan of the Matrix franchise, and just being part of this incredible universe is just unbelievable. I knew the movie was happening because some of the people I'm involved with were working on it. And I remember Lana came to the shop, where we train, and she saw me and she was like, oh my God, I got to have you back. You got to come back to the movie. I said, of course. I mean, that's Lana Wachowski, and she's a genius and she's incredible, and just to be part of the franchise is something else, just to be part of that world. I can't wait. People go crazy about this movie.
So to get back to Hell Hath No Fury, is there anything specifically about your character that you think you would like to kind of say that maybe people might misinterpret, or do you think that the movie really gets the message across and unanimously will reach audiences?
I think the film really gets the message across. I think Jesse did a really good thing telling the story. I think people will be very surprised when they see my character. Like, I'm playing an SS officer, but it's not what you think. He's in love with a French resistance fighter, and he betrays the Nazis for her. But she's a trickster, and
yeah.
And so my character is just, he fell for her, and I think if I can't say more because otherwise I'm giving them
Spoilers.
away,
Yeah. Okay.
you know.
So then, and you post this movie once you had done it, because you
Mm.
guys had filmed it. What was it? Last 2 years ago? Last year?
I can't remember. What is it now? 2021?
See, the pandemic makes it feel like 2020 lasted for like a whole decade in its own.
I know,
So it's
20.
hard to tell.
Yeah, sometimes in 2020.
Okay,
God,
so
that year kind of went like, loop.
once you finished that, did you find yourself doing any research on that like period, like the World War II and those things based on
100%.
what you learned?
Actually, I did it before. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
period, yeah, of course, yeah. It's a period I like very much. You know, I love war movies. It's a period I'm very interested in. Um, I watched a lot of especially documentaries. I watched a lot of documentaries, and Jesse turned me on to some really good stuff. Did a lot of reading about it. In my monologues, there's a bunch of monologues I have. Do you remember that scene when I talk to my commander and I tell him what we're doing
Is
without
it?
giving him
I think it's
the one
almost
in it's a
halfway
scene,
through. It's,
yeah, halfway through. It's like
I know what you're
in a
talking about.
weapons depot. And we talk about all these things we've done. So I researched every word that I say, every city I've mentioned. I actually researched what we did, what happened, how many people died, why we were there. So when I mention it, that I really had something behind. Acting is something I take very seriously. You know, when I got my first chance in making films in Bloodsport 2, I was brand new. I was green. And I mean, I went to drama school for about a year and a half, made the movie, but fell in love with acting. So I went back to drama school for years and years and years and kept studying. And then, you know, it's life, you know, acting is life and more experiences. And I really enjoyed playing this part. It was really, really fun to play.
Well, it seems like you had a great time, and I'm going to be speaking with most of the cast as well after this. I'm excited to get
So,
all your different perspectives. Um,
right.
so, before I, wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to plug? Any other projects you have going on? Any social media or any websites that you'd like readers or listeners to?
People can check me out at I'm only on Instagram. The real Daniel Bernhardt on Instagram. I'm not very good at it. I'm trying to get better.
That's what everyone says. So it's if that makes you feel any
I'm trying to get better.
better.
I just post pictures from business. That's all I do. You know, once in a while I post a picture, but I'm not as good as I should be. But I'm really stoked. I'm very, very excited for this movie. I can't wait for it to come out. It's out November 5th in theaters and November 9th streaming. I'm very excited for Jesse because this is an amazing opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity for me. I've been getting a lot of compliments about the movie. So I'm excited, you know, maybe I'll get a little different if people see me a little bit different. But yeah, just, and then move on to the next. I'm doing a movie right now. I'm far, far away doing a movie. Where are you at? Where are you at?
I'm in Arizona.
Oh,
We just moved to Arizona from Toledo a few months
okay.
ago. So yeah, I'm in the States in Arizona. But it's been a wonderful time speaking with you. It to wrap up, I think you did great as this character. The cast really had chemistry together. You can't tell that you guys haven't worked together before. So I'm hoping to see, more roles like this for you in the future.
Be
Seems
amazing.
like you
Yeah, I
really
would be
dig it.
exciting too. I mean, I do love, don't mistake to get mistaken. I love doing my action movies. It's just something I love, 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 love. I love to do acting, but if I can do a fight scene,
Yeah, so well then, before which do you gravitate towards? Like if you could do a role with fight scenes versus a role where you're just going to focus on your acting chops, which of those
you
do you
know,
think you
it's
gravitate towards?
funny. People always ask me that, and I say, one thing makes you better. I just did a film where I was the fight coordinator. I was the fight coordinator on Nobody. I don't know if you saw that movie.
Wait, I did not see it yet, but that's with
Oh God,
um
you did not see Nobody?
what's his name?
Bob Odenkirk.
Yes, Bob Odenkirk.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. You have to see it. I
I've
did
wanted to. I really wanted to, but I have not seen it yet. I
That's your
didn't
homework.
realize you were doing that. Okay, so you,
I was the fight coordinator on it, a co-fight coordinator, plus I played a part. I just did a movie called Lou with Allison Janney, where I was the fight coordinator and I played a part. I'm up to direct a movie next year, star and direct.
you're gonna
And
direct?
yeah, I directed a movie called Fetch, a short movie.
Okay.
That's really fun. Um, I like to write. I've written the script. I like to do everything. You could call me tomorrow and say, "Hey, Daniel, can you just fight coordinate a movie?" I say, "Yeah, let me play a little part and I'll do it." Or you can call me and say, "Hey, I just want you to just be one of the good fighters in the movie." I'm like, "I'll do that."
That's awesome that you're open to to all that. Any last things that you'd like to say before I wrap, or you think we pretty much
I
covered it?
appreciate your time. I appreciate you pitching our movie. I appreciate you supporting our movie. I'm very grateful I'm here. I'm very grateful I'm working.
I appreciate you, man. Thank